Well, hello and welcome everyone. Shapti here with another video, this time on Warrior, because Warrior is a little bit harder to play early on, it's a little bit difficult to understand, and I had some trouble getting into this playstyle, and I saw other people's comments who also struggled with this class, and many times people gave up on it and played something else because it's a little bit frustrating. And to alleviate that, I took a little bit of a closer look at Warrior to understand how it fully works. And I think if you just follow the mechanics, the class should be fine to play. Now, the problem with Warrior is that you probably just start by spamming Rolling Slam and you realize that you will probably just slam past enemies and you kill one or two of them and a couple of them are still alive, and then you have to kill them one by one, or like using your basic attack, or you try to hit them with your slam and you still miss them and it takes too long to kill stuff. Well, there's an easier solution for that, and that's Boneshatter. Boneshatter itself is quite underwhelming. It just deals like basic weapon damage, is a bit slow, and yeah, it doesn't do much. It doesn't even stun enemies when you attack them. Like it doesn't fill the enemy stun meter when you attack them. But when an enemy is almost stunned and you have Boneshatter equipped and on your hotbar, then there will be a golden orb above your enemy, and that indicates that you can cash out the almost stunned condition and fully stun them with Boneshatter. That's the moment where Boneshatter will stun them, and that will proc the secondary effect, which is a shockwave that deals 250 damage as a decently sized AoE. And this shockwave, by the way, can also stun or fill the enemy stun meter of enemies around you. So they can also get golden orbs, and what you basically do with a warrior is you cash out the golden orbs for AoE damage. So let me see if I can find some nasty enemy. There we have it. Golden orbs, and bam. Golden orb, bam. Now what you see here is an issue. Some enemies are so weak, they get stunned in one hit. They get fully stunned, then you can't cash them out with Boneshatter. So that is a bit of an issue. But enemies get stronger later on. For these enemies, you can actually just use Rolling Slam. Speaking of which, it's not that easy to hit. So what I did was I socketed a overpower gem, which increases stun build-up, into my basic attack, because basic attack is super fast. Rolling Slam is slower and a bit difficult to control. You need to cancel the animation. You can do it too, but it might be annoying, and whether you stun somebody or not depends on your enemy type. Some of them get easily stunned and you will overstun them instantly and fully stun them basically, and others take like 2 hits to be stunned. So you need to basically study your enemies to know which attacks are the best to be used against which enemy type. But yeah, the basic idea is get them a golden orb in 1 or 2 hits and then cash the golden orb out. As a support, I used extra damage on Boneshatter because we want to kill enemies fast enough. Now let's look at this. Now, as you can see, you can also use Rolling Slam for the weaker enemies because it deals less damage, and then you can stun them. Boom. Now, what we have here is a boss, and versus bosses, you're not always getting them to a point where they're almost stunned and you can cash out that. So versus bosses early on, you need to rely on basically raw damage, and I usually spam the basic attack. Now he's stunnable, boom. Drinking potions. Hiding a little bit because his stagger bar is orange, so he can't be staggered that easily. Dodging these projectiles. Now I can stagger him again, filling his stagger bar, and boom. And he's dead.
This can't go on.
The moment you reach level 14, you can learn Perfect Strike, and that's your absolute boss killer. And I will show you how that one works in a minute. Perfect Strike basically is a charged ability. Like, when you just use it a little bit, it deals low damage. If you overcharge it, it also deals low damage. You have to get it to the sweet spot where it's like glowing a little bit, and there's also this audio cue that you can hear. Yeah, there's this like clink that you hear, and that's when you have to release it for some really nice extra damage. So let's have a quick look at this one. So it has some fire conversion, deals decent damage, but here it is. It's 600% damage if you fully charge it. And it also ignites enemies, so that's why we have increased ignite duration and more fire damage on this ability. This one is really good for killing bosses, because you just need to hit your enemy once and then just kite and it deals a ton of damage. Cool. It also has some decent AoE, so you can also clear slow enemies with that. And that's basically your boss killer ability that you can learn at level 14. Before that, again, just spam your basic attacks and use some other things in between that you have. I mean, you can also get a totem that can help you with attacking and finishing bosses faster. So this is basically my setup that I'm playing right now. So, almost stunning them, boom. Then there are these annoying mages, they teleport around. Just cashing out the golden orbs. Boom. Now we have an elite here. So we can cash it out and boom. And it didn't hit lot. See, he's just burning down. Let's have a quick look at the passives. So I picked the melee damage here, and I grabbed stun build up at this thing instead of the melee damage here. So by picking these, we can easily we have an easier time giving enemies golden orbs, and it basically increases our clear speed, and that's what we are struggling with. Also more damage here, more damage against stunned, heavily stunned enemies. That's particularly good. Again, that's particularly strong against bosses. And I picked a little bit of block and health on block here. And some extra strength here, and I grabbed Giant's Blood, sorry. So I can have a two-hander and a shield. So I have high damage and some defense. And I will also get some block here. So having a bit of extra block is nice, because when you give enemies golden orbs, you want to look out for them, and that needs maybe like a second or two, right? So in that time, you're vulnerable to enemy attacks, and having a shield can really help you with your survivability. So you can attack enemies, have a look who's got a golden orb, and then attack them, and then attack the right enemy, basically. And having a shield helps you with that a little bit. I hope these tips were helpful. If you have questions, of course ask them in the comments, and consider dropping a like or a sub. And have a nice day. Bye bye!